President Donald Trump at the White House just moments ago saying that he will soon announce details of a meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Trump and Putin's Alaska meetup could change everything for Ukraine, and we're going to go through it in 10 minutes or less. Next Friday, something unprecedented is happening in Alaska. Grab a cup of tea, or in my case, it doesn't look very nice, but it's Weetabix anyway. It's Weetabix sort of dipped in milk. Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, the president of America and the president of the Russian Federation, respectively, are meeting face-to-face for the first time since before Russia even invaded Ukraine. That was 3 years ago. They last met, these two, I believe, over 6 years ago. I just want you guys to understand how serious a face-to-face meeting between these two actually is. But first, I want to make sure my mic is on. It's a big deal, okay? It's not just a phone call. These are nations that have been indirectly at war by the assessment of some analysts, myself potentially included, because America has been supplying Ukraine with arms to keep them in the fight with Russia. Geostrategically, Ukraine is not at all capable of fighting off the Russian Federation. The Russian Federation is a great regional power. It's nuclear armed, though that's more defensive in the modern day, but it's way more capable than Ukraine. So American support, Western European support has kept Ukraine in this fight with Russia. So this is a big deal, the American head and the Russian head meeting up. But here's what makes this meeting potentially pivotal, right? Game-changing. Trump just revealed that any peace deal might involve Ukraine giving up territory to Russia. Trump saying this out loud. This was known. Analytically, this is what, if you check back, if you have this finger stamina to go over and over again in my TikToks until you reach like 7 months ago, I was saying this 7 months ago, that Ukraine has to give up some territory to get some peace. And now Trump is saying that out loud. This is Trump's way, by the way. Before a negotiation, he dangles something juicy that the other side wants in the hope of getting the other side eager for negotiations, like a cat with a little ball. Although Putin is most definitely not a cat. Basically, someone in a good mood is easier to make deals with, or someone under a time constraint, ideally both. So Trump is using some art of the deal type things here to, make Putin sort of want to be eager for the meetup and be very hopeful that Russia's going to get something juicy, right? So it's like, I might give you the southern oblasts. All right, anyway. Do I not keep telling you guys not to fall for Trump's convincing act that he's an idiot? He's not an idiot. He plays the part very well, though, admittedly. Trump calls it swapping land when he's talking about Ukraine having to give something up in order to achieve a ceasefire/peace deal. But let's be real about what swapping of land would look like. Ukraine holds, are you ready for this? 4 square miles of Russian territory, maybe, in Kursk. That would give, Genghis Khan a run for his money. This is a great conqueror right here, bruv. Russia, let's just compare. Russia also controls a similar number. It controls 1/5 of Ukraine's entire country. That's about 4 square miles. Oh, sorry. 44,000 square miles. That's not swapping, bruv. That's Ukraine ceding territory very clearly. Now, Zelensky, former comedian, current president of Ukraine, immediately shot back at Trump's announcement, saying Ukraine will never, quote, gift their land to the occupier. Oh, very strong, very heroic. Now, geopolitics-wise, that's not how the world works, guys. My sweet summer children, let me break it down for you. Let's get analytical. Russia has long occupied. I don't know what this is, but Russia has long, definitely it's not a peace situation. Russia has long occupied for some years, in some cases, the southern oblasts of Ukraine along the DLZK front, the Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhia, Kherson front. If a peace could be achieved, Russia would almost certainly demand Ukraine never join NATO, and they'll also most certainly demand the southern oblasts, in part or in full, to be recognized as Russian, right? Redraw your maps, bruv. Yuri, bring a sharp pencil. We got new borders to draw. Da. It is what it is, right? I'm not for or against that. I'm an analyst. As you know, my unique selling point on my content is I'm not taking sides. I'm giving you the facts without the spin on it that the West will give you. Where 3 years ago the BBC was saying Russia is, resorting to using shovels and using computer chips from washing machines. That's how bad the supply is. Well, Russia still holds 20% of Ukraine. What happened to their shovels? What kind of hypersonic shovels are these? So I've not got the spin on anything, right? I encourage you, even if you have the time, to research what I'm saying. Fact check me, right? Here's what it is. Russia is winning, right? That's what I'm saying. For peace, Ukraine needs to, for peace to be given a chance, Ukraine to be able to rebuild, Ukraine's people to be able to prosper, for that to be a thing, you must give up something. Because you're in the losing position, you have to, right? Analytically, that's how the world works. That's how negotiations work. If you're on the back foot and there's no hope of you getting on the front foot, sue for peace and be practical, be pragmatic. What is this heroic Zelensky's like? I won't give a single inch, bruv. 20%, forget an inch. 44,000 kilometers of your country is in Russian control, and even with the Western powers backing you, even with America backing you, you can't get it back. And now America's thinking of dipping, and the Western powers have to deal with their citizens saying, "Why are we giving money to Ukraine when there's people on the street in our country homeless?" What's the end game, my G? What's the end game anyway? Anyone who pushes back, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Anyone who pushes back and appeals with an emotional argument and says Ukraine can't negotiate with the occupiers, fails to understand the geopolitical reality on the ground, the dynamics at play. And if you fail to understand that, I don't even know, what's the point of even reading the news? Just, hang up a banner, hang up a flag behind you that's the Ukrainian flag. Every video you make, say Slava Ukraina at the end, and just be pro-Ukraine blindly. I don't even know what's the point. But go on, you can do that. There's geopolitical analysts on here, so-called analysts that do that. So I don't know what's the point. Like, just listen to BBC then. Why are you on here? I'm on here because the BBC doesn't do what I'm doing. But if you're just parroting what the BBC does. Anyway, America is now meeting Russia in Alaska. If Putin can sweet talk Trump into a deal, something that benefits America can be offered, then Trump may be very tempted to accept, even if it comes at Ukraine's expense. Remember, America first. America first. America's moving into a lot more of a transactional state. It's no longer a superpower that can be benevolent and hand out goodies and freebies. No, America thinks, I need to make the best deal for my people. And okay, fine. I can't really contest that. Even your people disagree with what's best for them, but that's your democracy. You deal with that. Even if it's not favorable to Ukraine, Trump might agree to a deal proposed by Russia. That's what I'm trying to say. Putin could say, Mr. Trump, you are very intelligent, reasonable man, and you lead very powerful nations. So powerful. So big. I mean, we are so small in Russia compared to you. You're so big. Let's do deal. Right? This is how, the Putin would, butter Trump up, right? Inflate his ego a bit, stroke his ego, right? Waste more money in Ukraine. You tell Zelensky, accept peace, give Russia Crimea, deal ZK front. We all have peace. Everything going to be happy. And Mr. Trump, your business specialty is special. You got very good experience in American company management. We give you, American companies, exclusive right to mine, extract the minerals in the new southern oblasts of Donetsk and Luhansk and Zaporizhia and Kherson for 30 years. Yeah? Only exclusively BlackRock and your friends. And let's do some more deals about Russian minerals in the homeland, the main homeland, right? It will profit us all. You are a good deal maker. Oh, it's so amazing. You're so amazing. And we will give you full credit. Russia will say, Trump made this peace deal possible. You can end biggest war since World War II. Of course. Nobel Peace Prize is waiting for you. Absolutely deserved. What do you think Trump is going to say to a pitch like that, especially if it's not me saying it, but Putin saying it, the head of the Russian Federation, saying, you could get a Nobel Peace Prize for this, ending the war. Wow. You could get mineral deals for America. Ooh. Now who's dangling what in front of who? The turns have been tabled, right? The turns have been tabled. Love him or hate him, Vladimir Putin, former KGB agent and current president of the Russian Federation, is a smooth geopolitical operator. He knows what he's doing and who he's speaking to, and therefore how he should speak. Mark my words, if Russia can convince America it's economically lucrative for the US to back a Russian ceasefire/peace demand, then America will back Russia and itself America will back Russia and itself. It will do what's good for America and what's good for Russia, and Ukraine will be left in the cold, either to fight alone or with only Western European support, or more pragmatically, Ukraine will be left to accept a peace deal, lose the land, and rebuild the 80% of the country they still have. The alternative, sorry, got rudely interrupted there by the TikTok video limit. The alternative, as I was saying, analytically speaking for Ukraine, the alternative to peace, if they can't manage it, is grim, right? No way to win, no way to develop their economy further, to lift their economy up from the broken mess it is currently in. No men left to fight unless you lower the conscription age, right? Ukraine has reportedly been running out of men now and replacing them with drone battalions. So there's no runway left analytically, strategically for the Ukrainian state to try and pull a win. So they have to negotiate. And by have to, I mean have to if you care for your state. But if you don't care for your state, just bongo YOLO it, no problem. I don't even know what bongo is. Bongos or drums, I don't know why. Mention anything you want, right? Zelensky can do whatever you want. He can toy the rest of Europe with an open wallet and be like, please, can you give money? Can you give money? What's the point? What are you going to do with the money? Now, a final point. The location of the Trump-Putin meeting is fascinating as well. Alaska sits just 55 miles from Russia across the Bering Strait. The Bering Strait, anyway, Putin can fly there without worrying about international arrest. The arrest warrant from the ICC is hanging over his head since he can fly there without fearing being arrested because America isn't a part of the International Criminal Court, the Rome Statute. So it can let ICC, basically criminals, according to the ICC, Trump can let them in, no problem, as we saw with Benny Yahoo. That's a funny nickname. You may wonder, ICC arrest warrants, what's the point even if America doesn't enforce them? The answer is, that's a good question. What is the point? Now, this meeting comes after Trump's deadline for a ceasefire deal on Russia. He gave Russia a deadline. It passed yesterday. But obviously not with no progress because Putin agreed to this face-to-face meeting. So I guess Trump has just pushed it back, the secondary tariff threat, the drama that he was causing, is paused for now, for the time being. The big question remains now. The big question that remains now. My English. Oh my muffles, please teach an English lesson, please. The big question that now remains is: can Trump actually broker peace? No doubt he's flying to Alaska with a potential Nobel Peace Prize on his mind. People have millions on their mind, but when you already have millions, you have a Nobel Peace Prize on your mind, I suppose. For the unbiased news and analysis without the Western spin, I'm Mahfouz, and I'll see you on the next one.